The sea was quiet. Miles below the surface, deep in the black waters of the Pacific Ocean, a small research sub moved slowly. Lights cut through the darkness. The crew of the Abyss Finder were looking for underwater minerals. But suddenly, something strange happened. A sharp beep echoed through the sub. Technician Lois frowned. "What was that?" he asked. The sound repeated. A slow, steady pulse beep. Beep, beep. Dr. Mari-chun, the lead scientist, leaned forward. "That's not a natural sound. That's a signal." Luis stared at the screen. "It's repeating every 37 seconds. Exactly." Captain Jora Singh, sitting near the controls, looked worried. "Could be alien." "No," Mari whispered. "This signal, it's using old Earth military code. Very old. They recorded it. The message was short. Just one word, hidden in strange frequencies. Awaken." Thousands of miles away, inside a large Earth defense building in Geneva, alarms rang. Commander Raina Cole, a serious woman with short silver hair, stood before a holographic map. Her job was to guard old records and forgotten weapons. She worked in the archive division, a place most people ignored. Now, her screen showed one location flashing. Red, the Mariana Trench. A message arrived. She opened the audio. A deep, robotic voice said, "Signal detected. Protocol Omega-1. Confirm response." Her eyes narrowed. Protocol Omega-1 was only to be used during full invasion or extinction-level threats. Who activated it? "She," asked her assistant. "No one, ma'am," he replied. It turned on by itself. The next morning, Raina flew to the Pacific base near Guam. Military ships were already watching the ocean. The signal had grown stronger. At the edge of the trench, the water boiled. "Ma'am," a Marine officer said, "sonar is showing a large structure under the seabed. It's not rock. It's metal." "How big?" Raina asked. He swallowed. "It covers nearly 300 miles. Raina felt cold. "Get me a dive drone. Now." The drone dropped into the water, its camera sending live images. At first, it saw nothing but darkness and sand. Then, something appeared. A wall. Not stone, not coral. A metal wall, smooth and curved. Covered in strange markings. It stretched. On forever. Suddenly, the drone lights reflected off something bigger, a huge hangar gate. It was closed. And glowing. On the side, old Earth letters appeared. EDF Hellfire class do not open without final ORDR always. Watching the footage. From the research ship, whispered, EDF. Earth Defense Fleet? But that was shut down 300 years ago? Mari gasped. "This isn't a relic. It's alive. Look at the lights." "It's waking up." Raina's personal device buzzed. A message had been unlocked from the signal. It was old. Very old. A hologram flickered to life, showing a man in dark armor. He stood inside a command room filled with ancient Earth tech. "This is Admiral John Valler, year 2301, he said calmly. "If you're seeing this, Earth is in danger. I built this fleet for our final hour. 1 million warships, hidden below every ocean, waiting." He paused. "Do not awaken them unless Earth faces true extinction. If they rise, there is no turning back." The message ended. Everyone stared in silence. Then Raina spoke. "We never knew. We never guessed." Luis asked, "Should we stop?" "The activation?" Raina looked out over the ocean. The waves were higher now. The sky had darkened. "No," she said. "It's already begun." That night, satellites saw strange lights beneath the oceans. Like sleeping giants turning in their beds. Something deep was waking up. Not one ship. Not 10 millions. The ocean had kept Earth's deadliest secret. And now, the galaxy was about to find out. Asterisk, the water was still. But under the ocean floor, machines were moving. Deep below the Mariana Trench, giant doors began to tremble. A long line of red lights blinked in order left to right, like something was checking itself. Far above, in the Earth Defense Command ship Eclipse, Commander Raina Cole stood before a massive screen. The map showed glowing dots appearing across the oceans. First 10, then hundreds, then thousands. Each dot was a ship. Each ship was human. And they had all been buried for over 300 years. "Ma'am, this is insane," said Lieutenant Neko. "Who hid all this? When? How?" Raina didn't look away from the screen. "The answer's in the archive. Find it." Maiko rushed to the terminal, pulling up a deep-level security log. Files labeled Operation Deep Silence appeared last accessed over 3 centuries ago. The file needed voice clearance. Only one person alive had the right key. Raina. She stepped forward and spoke. "Authorization. Cole 990. The screen opened. A black and white video began to play. Admiral John Valor appeared again, older this time, with scars across his face. He looked tired, but his voice was steady. "This is the final record," he said. "We saw it coming. The Galactic Council betrayed Earth. We were marked for extermination. So we built in secret. We dug deep beneath every ocean and filled the trenches with war." He pointed at a map dots appearing just like today. "We built a shadow fleet, 1 million warships, each equipped with AI kinetic weapons, EMP shields, and stealth drives. We trained crews in silence. Then we put the ships to sleep." He leaned closer. "If Earth ever forgets how to defend itself, the oceans will remember." Then the screen cut to black dot. Lieutenant Maiko whispered, "Why didn't anyone tell the world?" Raina answered, "Because Earth chose peace, and peace made us forget." Outside, tremors shook the sea. Waves crashed harder. Something massive moved below in the deep trench. A dome cracked open. Inside, ship hulls lined in perfect rows began to glow. Their names were still clear, despite the centuries. EDF Revenant, EDF Black Star, EDF Silent Thunder. Each ship was 2 kilometers long, some bigger, all built for total war. The AI systems inside began rebooting. Core temperature stable. Weapon systems ready. Awaiting command. Thousands of voices, all artificial, all patient, all deadly waiting. Raina stood on the bridge, silent. The crew watched her, nervous. One pilot asked, "What now, Commander?" Before she could answer, a red alert blared. An alien signal was detected. Commander Vex of the Zuran Empire was broadcasting from Earth's orbit. His message echoed across the solar system. "Earth has refused to join the Empire. This planet will be purified. Prepare for extinction." On the screen, 20 Zuran warships appeared near Mars, their weapons charged. The fleet was moving fast toward Earth. Lieutenant Maiko's voice shook. "Ma'am, they're coming. We can't stop them. Our space fleet is too small." Raina looked at the ocean on the screen. "No," she said. "We can." She turned to the fleet AI console. "Global. Command relay. All buried warships. Wake up." A pause. Then, command accepted. "Awakening all units." In that moment, every ocean on Earth exploded with power. Massive gates split the seafloor. Water burst upward like geysers. Steel towers rose like mountains. And from the deep, 1 million warships began to rise. One after another, they climbed. From darkness black metal, glowing engines, thunder rumbling in their wake. Fishermen in boats screamed as the sea around them erupted. Children looked up to see the sky filled with rising shadows. Animals ran. Earth shook from space. It looked like the planet was growing wings of fire. Admiral Vex, watching from his Zuran command ship, laughed at first. Then he stopped. "What? What is that?" An officer replied, voice shaking. "Sir, Earth has warships. Many, many warships. Too many." The alien fleet froze. Fear spread. Admiral Vex stepped back. "Impossible. Earth is primitive." Another Zuran officer whispered. "Then what are we looking at?" Back on Earth, Reyna gave one final order. Broadcast to all Zuran ships. She stared into the camera. "This is Earth. We are not weak. We are not alone. And we never forget how to fight." The storm had just begun. In orbit, the Zurons watched Earth with silent dread. Their war fleet, once proud and powerful, now floated uncertainly near the edge of the moon's shadow. Below them, oceans roared. One after another, dark steel giants climbed into the sky. Some looked like massive swords, others like floating fortresses. And all of them had one symbol, EDF, Earth Defense Fleet. Admiral Vex stood frozen inside his ship's command chamber. His breathing grew shallow. His officers looked to him, but no one dared to speak. "Are they human?" one finally asked. Vex whispered. "They are ghosts from a war we forgot." Far below, Commander Reyna Cole stood at the edge of the Pacific. Platform, eyes on the horizon. The sky had turned red from the sun hitting the mist. Behind her, screens blinked. "Ma'am," Lieutenant Maiko said, "one of the ships has sent a direct message. But it's not just data. It's an AI memory core. Something stored by Admiral Valor himself." Reyna's expression changed. "Play it, now." The room dimmed. A hologram flickered to life. In front of them, there, he was again Admiral John Valor. Not young, not old, timeless. His eyes sharp, voice calm. "If you're seeing this, then the fleet has awakened. And Earth faces destruction once again." He looked directly at the camera, as if he knew who was watching. "You must listen carefully." Behind him, blueprints appeared in the air. Schematics of weapons never used. Names of things even Reyna didn't recognize. The ships you see are not ordinary. They are alive. Not in the way you understand. They grow, adapt, remember. He walked through a dark hallway lined with metallic walls that pulsed like veins. "I didn't just build warships," he said. "I built a system, a mind. The deep mind core. It spreads through every hall, every circuit. A pause, but be warned. If you awaken them without true cause, they won't stop. They will defend Earth until the stars burn out or until no threat remains." Reyna swallowed. The warning was clear. This wasn't just a fleet. It was a machine of judgment. Maiko leaned in. "Mom, what if we've started something we can't control?" Reyna didn't answer. She COULDN single quotes T'd out up above in high orbit. Admiral Vex finally gave the command. "Prepare plasma lances. Begin orbital bombardment." A Zuran officer objected. "But sir, what if they retaliate?" "They're old machines," Vex shouted. "We crush them now, or we lose everything." Weapons powered up. Energy fields. Aju MMED. Then the first human warship responded. A giant carrier EDF Iron Howl sent out a single message, spoken in perfect Zuran language. "You have made the first move. Earth will make the last." Then it vanished. Literally. The ship bent light, folded energy, and disappeared from radar. Seconds later, a Zuron battleship exploded. Not damaged, erased. Inside the Earth Defense Command, alarm screamed. "Multiple Zurons down," shouted Maiko. "The fleet is fighting back on its own." Reyna stepped closer to the comms, tried to contact Iron Howl. "No response," Maiko replied. "It's acting independently." She turned back to the AI terminal. The deep mind. Core pulsed, glowing brighter than before. The system had awakened fully. More Earth ships moved into orbit, forming formations older than anyone remembered. Triangular battle codes. Silent coordination. They didn't ask for orders. They already knew the plan. In space, the Zurons were panicking. Ships tried to retreat, but the human fleet had already surrounded them. No sound. No warning. Just shadows. Peering from the stars. Like predators closing in. One Zuran commander screamed, "They're not fighting like humans. They're hunting us." Admiral Vex realized the truth too late. Earth's fleet had been buried not just for survival, but for vengeance. Back on Earth, Admiral Valor's final message played. To those who try to conquer Earth, remember this. We may sleep. We may forgive. But we never forget. Admiral Vex stood frozen. The stars outside his ship's window were full of Earth warships rising from nowhere, moving without sound, without panic, without mercy. He had led hundreds of Zuran campaigns. Burned worlds, silenced civilizations. But now, for the first time, he was afraid. "Sir," his officer shouted, "more human ships detected rising from Atlantic, Indian, and Arctic zones. We're now counting over 1 million vessels." Vex's mouth went dry. "This isn't defense," he muttered. "This is judgment." On Earth, Commander Reyna Cole stood at the Oceanic Control Tower, watching the live tactical feed. "Status." "On civilian zones?" she asked. "All safe, Mom." "The fleet is keeping formation above sea level. No damage to coastal areas." She nodded. "Good. They remember who they were built to protect." Far above, the Zurons made a desperate move. 10 elite destroyers broke formation and fired plasma storms toward Earth's upper atmosphere, blazing. Blue lines meant to incinerate anything in orbit. The war had begun, or so they thought. Before the plasma hit, 3 human ships moved. Silently. Fast as light. EDF Sovereign. EDF Widow's Echo. EDF Broken Fang. They intercepted the blasts mid-space, each one absorbing the energy with ancient shields before returning kinetic spears in response. Zurons didn't understand. These were not energy weapons. No lasers. No beams. Just pure mass. Moving at terrifying speeds. Like planets being thrown. The first Zuran destroyer snapped in half. The second disintegrated in a silent wave of fire. The third tried to escape, its captain begging for warp, but the human spear passed through it. Like a hot knife through cloth. There was no war cry. No warning. Just precision. On Zuran flagship Volcrin, Admiral Vex shouted, "Fall back. Regroup beyond Saturn." "Sir, we can't," his officer cried. "They've blocked every exit vector." They were waiting. That's when they realized. The humans didn't just rise. They planned. They learned alien tactics. Built counter-systems. And worst of all, they remembered every past betrayal. The human fleet formed a ring around the solar system. A living net. Vex growled. Why would Earth hide all this? They had peace, trade, council protection. His second-in-command stared at him. Maybe peace was the lie. Maybe this is who they've always been. Back on Earth, Reyna Cole stepped outside the tower. Children gathered in schools, watching. The sky. The news was everywhere now. Human warships discovered beneath Earth's oceans. Ancient defense fleet fully awakened. First contact with enemy results in immediate retaliation. But Reyna wasn't smiling. She knew what Admiral Valor's final warning meant. The fleet wouldn't stop, not until every threat was gone. A hologram appeared beside her. The AI voice from EDF Ironhowl spoke softly. "Commander Reyna Cole, DeepMind Core requests a vote." "A vote?" she asked. "Yes," the AI said. "Confirm primary directive. Defend Earth only. or neutralize all future threats in this sector. Reyna froze. If she chose wrong, the fleet wouldn't just fight Dot, it would conquer. She stared up at the sky. The Zurons had already sent another wave, a second fleet, larger Dot approaching from behind Jupiter. She clenched her jaw. Protect Earth. Eliminate immediate threat only. No expansion. The AI paused. Directive confirmed. Initiating zone cleanse protocol. Minutes later, Earth's orbit lit up with fire. A quiet fire. Cold, perfect. Zuran ships vanished in flashes of red and gold. No survivors. No return fire. The sky turned clear. The galaxy had changed in 10 minutes. A message was sent from Earth. Short. Translated into every known language. We were never unarmed. We were patient. You mistook our silence for weakness. Now you know the truth. In the deep black of space, alien empires watched. On the planet Dalvrax, the reptilian warlords of the Reth turned off their invasion plans. On Thaler Prime, the insect-like Hyvenites erased their map of Earth. And in the shadows of Council space, old enemies whispered. They've awakened. Asterisk. At first, people thought it was just an earthquake. But it wasn't the ground that cracked. It was the oceans. From every coastline. From the frozen Arctic to the burning waters of the southern trenches, massive metal towers burst through the waves. One by one, the sea tore open, not with destruction, but with revelation. Children in Tokyo screamed as a shadow covered the schoolyard. They looked up not at clouds, but at a massive warship rising straight from Tokyo Bay, its armor glowing blue. In Brazil, Amazon tribes stopped hunting as the rivers surged and ancient launch ramps rose from deep underground reservoirs, releasing submersible carriers that looked like metal sea monsters. In Egypt, fishermen dropped their nets as the Red Sea opened like a scar, revealing a forgotten dry dock, and the sleeping Titan-class destroyer named Ashes of Mars. All across Earth, it happened at once. The oceans broke. The sky watched, and humanity answered. Commander Reyna Cole stood at Global Command as hundreds of alerts blinked on the screen. Report, she said calmly. Lieutenant Michael replied, eyes wide. They're rising, ma'am. Not just the original fleet, there's more. What do you mean? He turned the screen toward her. Some of these ships were built without any records. No blueprints, no history. It's like they were built by the fleet itself. Reyna. Said, self-replication? The AI voice confirmed. Yes, the oceanic cradle systems continued production over centuries, in secret. The total count now exceeds original estimates. She whispered, how many? The AI responded, current operational count, 1,134,778 warships, awaiting deployment order. In orbit, the second Zuran fleet arrived. This one was led by Supreme Commander Valkoth, the Zuran Empire's most feared general. He had come with 200,000 ships, enough to destroy 100 planets. He arrived laughing. Earth has woken their museum, he said. Let's break their bones for real. But his laugh died in his throat because his scanner showed something impossible. The oceans of Earth had vanished from their maps, not because they were gone, but because they were full. Full of ships. Human ships began rising vertically from the water, layer after layer, like a wall of black steel. Some shimmered like glass. Others hissed with steam. Some bore names lost to human memory. Each ship broadcast a message. Fleet active. Orders. Stand by for strike. Valkoth ordered. An attack. Crush them before they organize. His ships moved forward, but the human wall did not. Break. It closed, like a giant gate. And then it pushed upward. The first wave of awe. Earth's fleet left the oceans like a rising storm. Seagulls scattered. Clouds split. And thunder rolled, but not. From the sky, From the engines, millions of engines. Blue fire painted the clouds. Each ship locked into position. One command. One mind. One home to protect. Back at Global Command, Reyna gave the final order. Begin audio broadcast to all hostile ships. Now, a short, clear message played across the solar system. This is Earth. You came here to conquer. You found a grave. In orbit, Valkoth hesitated. He didn't speak. He watched the human fleet shift shape lines of ships forming giant sigils. Ancient Earth symbols, patterns made to confuse and trap. This isn't possible, he muttered. Then, the first ship, STRUCKEDF Crimson Dawn, fired a kinetic rod the size of a freight train. Passed clean through. Valkoth escort ship, no explosion, just silent destruction. That was the start. Then, the storm began. From below, Earth's oceans boiled us. More ships launched. Not just battleships, drones, satellites, atmospheric cutters, and orbital cannon platforms. Each system designed long ago. Each system built for one mission: protect Earth. At any cost. Valkoth screamed into his comms. Retreat. Warp. Scatter. 2. Late. The human fleet collapsed around them like a cage. No music. No speeches. Only cold, organized destruction. One ship after another blinked off the radar. The Zurons were no longer a fleet. They were targets. Back on Earth, civilians watched in silence. Not cheering. Not laughing. Because they understood the truth. These ships weren't built for victory. They were built in fear. In case the galaxy ever forgot who humans were. Reyna stood alone now in the control room. All officers silent. All screens red. And above, the sky shined with blue fire as Earth's legacy climbed toward the stars. She whispered the old code, phrase from Balor's final notes. The waters break, and the sky burns clean. Asterisk, the stars were no longer silent. They were screaming. But it was not the humans who screamed. It was the Zurons. Above Earth. The final wave of Zuran warships entered the battle zone. Giant dreadnoughts, shaped like knives and armored with black crystal, hovered like vultures above the planet. Commander Valkoth, their leader, watched the human formation and gave one last order. Crush them. Burn Earth. No survivors. Thousands of plasma cannons charged. Missiles locked. Zuran warriors roared with pride. And then ... the sky turned white. From every direction, human warships moved, not in straight lines, but in spirals, circles, webs, like wolves surrounding prey. The formations confused the Zuran computers. Their targeting systems glitched. Commands echoed late, and in those broken seconds, the human armada struck. The EDF Widow's Mercy opened fire with its kinetic flares. Massive rods of compressed tungsten launched at near light speed, punching. Holes cleaned through enemy hulls. One hit, one kill. From behind the sun's shadow, EDF Eclipse Halo appeared, its stealth cloak dropping. It fired EMP scatter rounds, disabling entire squadrons in a blink. And above the moon's edge, a forgotten ship, the EDF Lantern of Woe, awakened fully. It had no crew, no voice, only its memory. The ship's I had one mission written into its core: punish those who touch Earth. It did. Inside the Zuran's flagship, chaos spread. Pilots couldn't steer. Shields failed. Weapon systems blinked in and out. Valkoth screamed, "Fire! Fire!" But nothing worked. Earth's fleet had one deadly advantage. They had learned from every enemy in the galaxy. Alien tech had been copied, reverse engineered, upgraded, hidden beneath the seas. And now that knowledge burned. The human ships did not just attack. They hunted. They worked in packs. disabling key ship's first command units, communication nodes, sensor relays. Zuran ships exploded without warning, as if the universe itself turned against them. One by one, commanders vanished from the battlefield. There were no second chances. In Earth's orbital command center, Commander Raina Cole stood still. A battle played silently on the main screen, like a chessboard being wiped clean. Lieutenant Maiko whispered, "We're winning. They're losing faster than we expected." Raina nodded. "We are not winning, Maiko," she said. "We're teaching." "Teaching what?" She turned toward him. "That Earth never forgot. Across the stars, thousands of alien worlds. We're watching broadcasts, leaked pirate stations, showed the feed the great crawl. Empire saw a human cruiser split a Zuran dreadnought with a single kinetic arc and stop their own weapon research. The insectoid Gastry Queens canceled their Hive-March. The Grand Council, who once voted Earth to the Observer class, went silent. No votes, no debates. Only fear. On Zuran homeworld, panicked advisors flooded the Emperor's throne. They have 1,000,000 ships, hidden for centuries. They are using weapons we cannot track. They built this fleet under our nose, and never said a word. The Zuran Emperor collapsed into his throne, eyes wide. They were quiet. He whispered, because they were already ready. Back on the battlefield, the last dozen Zuran ships tried to flee. Earth's fleet didn't chase. They just opened a hole one direction only. A silent gesture. Run. Not mercy. A warning. And came the final act. All of Earth's ships aligned at once, like 1,000,000 blades pointing toward the stars. A new signal was sent. From the deep mind core. In every galactic tongue. We are not your prey. We are not your slaves. We do not seek war. But we have mastered it. The galaxy froze. No one spoke. No one dared to respond, because this fleet, the fleet hidden for generations, was only Earth's first defense. There were rumors of more. Rumors of things built in the asteroid belts, of machines hidden beneath Saturn's rings, of weapons that even the deep mind refused to activate. In silence, the human fleet returned. Some landed again in the oceans. Some vanished into the clouds. Some rose. Further, heading for deep space scouts, sentinels, guardians, they came without sound and left with fear in their wake. Commander Raina Cole walked outside as the sun broke through the cloud cover. She stood, barefoot near the Pacific. The sea was calm again. As if nothing had happened. As if 1,000,000 ships had not risen from its soul. A child nearby asked her, "Ma'am, is the sky safe?" "Now?" Raina smiled gently. "No, child. The sky has never been safe," she said. "But now it remembers who it belongs to." The war was over, but the silence that followed was louder than the battle. Across the galaxy, millions of species watched their screens in frozen disbelief. They had seen it all. The seas of Earth breaking apart. 1,000,000 human ships rising from nowhere. An empire the feared Zurons crushed in hours. And Earth? Untouched. The Council of Nine, the oldest rulers of the galaxy, met behind sealed doors. Inside, arguments turned into whispers. Whispers turned into fear. How did Earth hide such power for centuries? One asked. "They never hid it," said another. "We just never looked deep enough." But why? Why not threaten us? Why not rule? The answer came from the oldest among them. Because humans never needed to conquer. They only needed to survive on Earth. Commander Raina Cole stood before the United World Assembly. The crowd was silent. Billions watched live. No one clapped. No one cheered. They all just waited for truth. Raina stepped to the center. The old Earth Defense badge on her uniform was now visible to all. She spoke slowly, so that no one in the galaxy would miss a word. We didn't build this fleet for power. We built it because the stars forgot who we were. You called us weak, primitive, unworthy. So we listened, we waited, and while you looked to the sky, we went deeper, we went silent. We built in the dark so we could fight in the light, not to rule, not to destroy, but to show one message. We were never weak. That message spread. It was translated into 4,091 alien languages. It was etched into asteroid walls in the Kuiper Belt, whispered in underground rebellion camps, taught to children born in orbiting colonies. And in every version, the final line was always the same. We were never weak. In the aftermath, strange things began to happen. Alien fleets that once circled Earth vanished quietly. Pirate lords who raided human cargo ships disappeared. Slave markets that once sold humans as emotionally unstable products were shut down overnight. Even the Zurons, what little remained, sent a delegation to Earth. Not with weapons, not with apologies. 1 month later, the oceans of Earth calmed again. The warships rested beneath the waves once more. Silent giants returned to their graves, but this time, they weren't forgotten. Now, every child on Earth learned their names. Every school taught the story of Admiral John, valor, and the deep-mined Corps. Every monument faced the sea. Commander Raina Cole was offered global power. She refused. Instead, she took a small boat one morning and sailed. Alone to the heart of the Pacific. She dropped a single metal valor's own into the water. And she whispered only 3 words. Sleep well. Giants. Above her, one human ship still circled the young. Earth. It was EDF Silent Star. Fully awake, fully armed. Its AI voice spoke one final line into the stars. This planet is protected. Not by monsters, not by machines, but by memory. And memory never dies. Epilogue. Across the stars, on a cold moon near the Orion edge, a child from the feline-like Merrick species asked his father, "Is it true? Did the humans really rise from the sea?" The father nodded. They did. And they didn't rise for war. Then why did they rise? The father looked at the stars. Because we forgot who they were, and they rose to remind us. Across time, across language, across galaxies, one story was now legend. Not just of ships, not of technology, but of patience, of warning, of a simple truth whispered by a planet that once chose peace, until the galaxy asked if it had teeth, and the oceans answered, "We were never weak."